Greetings and salutations. I'm Hollie Woods, and you're hanging out with Totally Tubular Trivia. In this episode, we're handling balls and getting slimy. So basically, a typical Friday night in 1985. But before we get to it, let's pop the top on last week's radical riddle. The red-labeled king with all the sugar and twice the caffeine? That's right, Jolt Cola. It was a heart attack in a can and the unofficial fuel for every teenager trying to pull an all-nighter for a math test. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I've got 10 gnarly questions to test your 80s IQ, so grab a new Coke and let's go.
Question 1. Movies.
In 1986's Labyrinth, David Bowie's Goblin King performs gravity-defying tricks with a crystal ball. Since Bowie couldn't actually juggle, what's the name of the pro who hid behind him to do the tricks blindly? The answer is Michael Motion. Motion crouched behind Bowie and juggled through his armpits. When he dropped a ball, Bowie would look down to check on him, making it look like the Goblin King was having an intense conversation with his own crotch.
Question 2. Music.
Which Manchester band had us all moping in cardigans while the frontman famously claimed the smell of burgers made him ill? The answer is the Smiths. Their anti-meat stance was so aggressive that vocalist Morrissey once walked off stage because he was breathing meat air. He looked less like a frontman and more like a judgmental librarian who caught you sneaking a Slim Jim behind the bookshelves.
Question 3. TV.
Before Nickelodeon was an empire, it had a messy sketch show where a certain gooey substance first appeared. What was the show where Nick's iconic green slime actually originated? The answer is, you can't do that on television. The slime was a total accident.
Oh, no!
Old food scraps rotted under hot studio lights and turned into green sludge. They loved the gross out factor and kept it. Nothing says quality TV like dumping a bucket of literal garbage on a child.
Question 4. Fashion.
To look like you just stepped off of a yacht, you wore these leather docksiders. What was the name of these iconic 80s boat shoes? The answer is Sebagos. The cool way to wear them was without socks and with the leather laces tied into barrel knots. It was a choice look until the cheap leather dye started sweating off. By the time you got home, your feet were stained with a grody shade of brown.
Question 5. Pop culture.
In 1985, Chevy released a mid-size van that looked like a space shuttle on wheels. What was it called? The answer is the Astro Minivan. It was basically a giant Tupperware container on wheels designed to trap the smell of spilled Hawaiian punch. If you hit a speed bump, you could lose a toddler in the velvet abyss of the back seat. I can still feel those velvet seats in that minivan. Talk about a totally wicked makeout spot. Now, since we're mid-show, it's time for the commercial break trivia question. Let's see if you remember this intense PSA.
Question 6. Commercials.
In 1987, a man held up an egg and said, "This is your brain," before smashing it into a frying pan. What was he advertising against? The answer is drugs. The actor became so famous that people in restaurants would constantly ask him how he liked his eggs. Not fried was the only answer.
Question 7. Food.
Most kids in the 80s would pity the fool who didn't eat this cereal. But do you know the real name of Mr. T? The answer is Lawrence Two-Rod. It was just T-shaped Captain Crunch, but it came with stick-on tattoos. Nothing said, I'm ready for recess and a possible gang war, like the second grader with the temporary bicep tat.
Question 8. Video games.
In this 1982 Atari game, you navigate a dark mansion while being chased by bats and spiders. What was it? The answer is Haunted House. Your character was just a pair of floating eyeballs. We didn't need high-end graphics back then, just a pair of panicked pupils to show how terrified you were. It was basically a game where you just ran around looking like you were about to pee yourself.
Question 9. Toys.
Back in the day, the back of a comic book was the only place to buy a family of pets for $1. What were these aquatic, instant-life creatures that promised to be your new best friends? The answer is sea monkeys. You'd wait 6 weeks for delivery just to realize you bought a funeral for a bunch of brine shrimp. And they didn't even have the decency to wear the little crowns pictured in the ad.
Question 10. Celebrities.
Before his tragic passing, this 80s icon starred with Harrison Ford in 2 different movies.
Whoa.
He played Ford's son in The Mosquito Coast and also played a young Indiana Jones. Who was this actor? The answer is River Phoenix. Harrison Ford actually handpicked River for the role. He told the producers that out of all the young actors in Hollywood, River was the only one who already looked like he'd been through a desert and a divorce. All right, you made it through without getting slimed, fried, or lost in a goblin's maze. Thanks for chilling out. Before I motor, I'm leaving you with the radical riddle. I'm the 3-wheeled terror with the plastic seat, the loudest thing rolling down your summer street. With a giant front wheel and a handbrake turn, I'm the sideways slide that every kid had to learn. What am I? Let that bake in your brain a bit. I'll reveal the answer next time on Totally Tubular Trivia. I'm Hollie Woods. Be excellent to each other.